If you watch just one training video before your job interview, make sure it's this one. In the video, I am going to teach you how to answer the top 30 most asked interview questions. If you are applying for any job role with any company, make sure you stay tuned because the unique answers I am about to give you have been created based on my 30 years experience as a recruitment expert and hiring manager. So to help you pass your interview at the first attempt, I will cover the following 4 things in this video. Number 1, I will tell you what the top 30 most asked questions are in job interviews. Number 2, I will give you 2 brilliant tips for giving the perfect answer to each question. Number 3, I will then give you top scoring unique answers to each of the 30 interview questions that will definitely impress the hiring manager. And then finally, number 4, I will tell you how you can instantly download my top 30 great answers to job interview questions. And just very quickly, if you are new to my channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thousands of you are passing your interviews at the first attempt. If you are subscribed, it makes it far easier for me to help you. And please give the video a like because that really does energize and motivate me to create more great content for you. And please make sure you tell me the name of the job you are applying for in the comment section below the video, and I will give you some extra tips to help you pass. Thank you very much. The first question you will have to answer at your job interview is going to be, tell me about yourself. Let me give you 2 great tips for giving the perfect answer. Tip number 1, I strongly recommend you use my seat method to structure your answer. And you can remember the seat method because you will be sitting down on a seat at your interview. SEAT stands for the following 4 things. S stands for the skills you have that match the job description. E stands for education and any experience you can bring to the company. A stands for your achievements. And finally, T is the type of person you are and what you will do in the role to help their company. And tip number 2, I recommend you keep your answer to approximately 60 seconds in duration. Please make sure you practice your answer before your interview because that will help to create a good first impression and also demonstrate excellent communication skills which will be assessed at your interview. So let me now give you the perfect answer to the question, tell me about yourself, that uses my seat method. Here we go. Tell me about yourself. Thank you for this opportunity. My skills are an excellent match for the job description. I am a confident problem solver, a good communicator, and a supportive collaborator, and I have a strong work ethic, meaning I complete more work than the average employee. My qualifications are a great match for this job role and industry. I have experience working on small and large teams, completing time-sensitive projects, and overcoming workplace challenges. I am a high achiever. In my last job, my manager praised my cost-conscious work approach and how I always asked customers and clients for feedback to help the business improve. If you hire me, I will be a good role model for the company, take responsibility for my professional development, and embrace change to help the company take advantage of new opportunities in the industry. And I look forward to sharing additional details regarding my suitability for this position in the interview. That is a brilliant example answer, and you can see how effective my SEAT method is for that first interview question, tell me about yourself. Let's now move on to interview question number 2. Why do you want this job? Here are 2 great tips. Tip number 1. Do not say you want the job because of the salary or benefits. It is important to say that you are passionate about the job role. And tip number 2, I also recommend you state that you want the job because it is with their company. I recommend you say that you have researched the company in your answer. So here is my brilliant example response to the question, why do you want this job? Here we go. I want this job because I am passionate about this role and industry. We spend a lot of time at work, and I want that time to be spent doing something I enjoy while working with forward-thinking and supportive co-workers. I also want this job because it is with your company. I researched you before applying, and I'm attracted to your company values, inclusive workplace culture, and progressive training for staff. So that is another great answer. You can see how these answers are going to put you ahead of the competition at your job interview. Interview question number 3. What are your greatest strengths? Here are 2 brilliant tips. Tip number 1. The most effective way to answer this common question is to provide strengths that match the job description. Now, the job description is the blueprint for the role you are applying for. So make sure you read the job description before your interview. And the best strengths for job interviews include commercial awareness, results orientation, which means you always focus on achieving positive things for your employer, problem solving, technical skills, and teamwork collaboration. So here is my perfect example answer to the question, what are your greatest strengths? My greatest strengths include problem solving, cost consciousness, collaboration, and responsiveness. When problems occur in a team, I take the lead to resolve them. I take care of company supplies and resources to help save money, and will find ways to make systems and processes efficient. I am a strong collaborator, support my co-workers, and focus intensely on my team's objectives. And finally, my responsiveness means I act quickly, resulting in increased work output. So those are brilliant strengths for all job interviews. Make sure you write them down and use them at your job interview. Interview question number 4. Why do you want to leave your current job? Here's 2 great tips. Tip number 1. Do not say anything negative about current or former employers, co-workers, or bosses. If you are negative, the interviewer may think it is you who has the problem. Now, good things to say in your answer include the fact that you have reached your full potential, you want a new challenge, and also you want to take on more responsibility. So here is my brilliant example answer. Why do you want to leave your current job? I want to leave my job because I am ready for a new challenge. I've enjoyed working for my employer, and the skills and knowledge I have gained will help me excel in my next position. Although I will leave my employer on excellent terms, I am now ready for the next chapter of my career where I can collaborate on new and exciting projects that utilize my expertise while working alongside ambitious and like-minded professionals. Pause the video and write down that answer and practice it before your interview. It will definitely impress the hiring manager. Interview question number 5 is one that needs a careful answer. What is your biggest weakness? Here's 2 great tips. Tip number 1. Lots of people answer this question by saying, I don't have any weaknesses. Or they respond by saying, my biggest weakness is I am a perfectionist. Do not say either of those things in your answer. Tip number 2. The best weaknesses for job interviews are public speaking, struggling to say no to people, finding it hard to strike a healthy work-life balance, and also delegating because you prefer to do things yourself. Here is a brilliant example answer. What is your biggest weakness? My biggest weakness is that I find it difficult to say no to people. Because I am a people pleaser, I automatically say yes when someone asks me to help them, resulting in me sometimes overcommitting. I am aware of my weakness and taking positive steps to improve by assessing my capacity for additional work before saying yes. Great answer. Interview question number 6. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Here's 2 brilliant tips. Tip number 1. Do not say you want to be working for a different company in 5 years. The hiring manager wants to hire someone who will commit to the job role for a lengthy period of time. Don't forget, it takes a lot of time, energy, and resources to hire someone for a job role. So if you are the type of person who skips from job to job, the hiring manager is unlikely to offer you the position. Tip number 2. Great things to include in your answer are the fact that you want to build a long-term career at their company, the fact that you will have completed lots of training courses in the next 5 years, and you will also have experience across different departments, and you can say that you will specialize in several business areas, so you are a valuable asset to your team. Here is a great answer. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? In 5 years, I would like to be working for your company in this role with lots more responsibility or having earned a promotion. In 5 years, I would specialize in several business areas, gain experience across different departments to expand my company knowledge, and be an irreplaceable team asset. In 5 years, I would also like to be someone the company could use to help train new hires, which will develop my coaching skills. That's a great answer. Interview question number 7. How would you deal with a conflict with a coworker? Here's 2 great tips. By the way, if you are enjoying this video, don't forget to hit the like button. I really do appreciate your support. Tip number 1. Now, the majority of candidates respond by saying, I would tell my manager about the conflict so they could deal with it. If you give that type of answer, you will fail your interview. Tip number 2. This question assesses conflict resolution skills. I recommend you say that you would take ownership of the conflict to achieve a successful outcome. Here is a brilliant answer. How would you deal with a conflict with a coworker? I appreciate that negative conflict has the potential to hinder a team's ability to progress. Therefore, I would take ownership of it to achieve a resolution. First, I would assess my words and actions to ensure I was not causing the conflict. Next, I would meet privately with my coworker to ascertain their views about the cause of the conflict before holding open and honest conversations to find an amicable way forward that benefited our team. That shows you to be a smart and professional employee who takes ownership of difficult situations. It is the perfect answer. Interview question number 8. What experience do you have? Here's 2 great tips. Tip number 1. Make sure you read the job description before your interview because it will list the essential experience needed in the position. And tip number 2. The top 4 experiences hiring managers want are working on teams, completing projects, problem solving, and client and customer care. Here is a great answer. What experience do you have? I have extensive experience working in team environments, problem solving, delivering on challenging projects, and customer care. For example, in my previous role, I was part of a cross-functional team tasked with delivering a time-sensitive project. I took the initiative to organise meetings, track progress, and ensure everyone stayed aligned on goals. In terms of problem solving, I encountered a situation where the company website crashed. I analysed the problem, researched possible causes online, and established the website server required upgrading. Additionally, I have a solid track record in client and customer care. In one instance, I worked closely with a dissatisfied customer, actively listening to their concerns and providing a resolution that not only solved their problem, but also strengthened their trust in our company. So that is a really good answer to that question, what experience do you have? Because you are giving examples. So you are giving an example of a time-sensitive project when you solved a problem, which was the website crashing, and also how you helped resolve a problem with a dissatisfied customer. So it's a really good example answer. Here is the next interview question that comes up all the time. What's your greatest achievement? Here's 2 really good tips to help you. Tip number 1. Now, you are more likely to receive a job offer if you have a track record of achievement. Try to give an example of a situation where your achievement comes from a previous job role. And tip number 2, I recommend you use the STAR method to structure your answer. Now, I am going to reference the STAR method many times in this training video because it will definitely help you pass your interview. STAR method stands for situation. So you begin your answer and you tell the hiring manager the situation you were in. You then explain the task that needed your attention. You then tell them the action you took to complete the task before finishing your answer with the result following your actions. So that's called the STAR method, and it is recognized by all hiring managers as the best way to answer behavioral interview questions. Here is a brilliant answer. What's your greatest achievement? I wanted to help the company increase sales in my previous role. We operated in a highly competitive industry and I wanted us to be the best. My task was to seek ways to take advantage of market opportunities and meet customer demand. After conducting some research, I suggested to my manager that we implement an online customer survey and feedback form that could be sent to customers after each purchase. The form would enable us to obtain valuable customer feedback to help improve service standards and also gauge appetite for new products and services. The form would also empower us to ask for online reviews, which would help build trust and loyalty with potential customers. After my manager agreed to implement the form, we started receiving great feedback, ideas, and reviews from customers, which all contributed to a 17% increase in sales. That is a brilliant answer. You can see how effective the STAR method is. And I like that answer because you are finishing by saying there has been an increase in sales by a specific number. And in this case, I have used 17%. Interview question number 10. Tell me about a time when you made a mistake. Here's 2 great tips to help you. Tip number 1, do not make the mistake of saying you never make mistakes in your work. This interview question assesses honesty and self-improvement. We all make mistakes from time to time, but it is how we respond to the mistake that is being assessed here. And tip number 2, again, make sure you use the STAR method to structure your answer because this is another behavioral interview question. So you are going to use situation, task, action, and result. Here is a brilliant example answer. Tell me about a time when you made a mistake. Early in my career, I accidentally sent an email with incorrect pricing information to several key clients. It was my responsibility to correct the error and ensure it did not damage client relationships or the company's reputation. As soon as I realized the mistake, I immediately informed my manager and drafted a follow-up email to apologize and clarify the correct pricing. I also personally called the clients to explain the situation and answer any questions. Additionally, I reviewed our email approval process and suggested improvements to prevent similar errors in the future. The clients appreciated my prompt and transparent communication. None of them decided to withdraw their business, and the updated approval process I implemented significantly reduced errors in subsequent communications. That is a great example answer. Make sure you practice it before your interview. Job interview question number 11 that comes up all the time is, how do you prioritize your work? Here's 2 great tips. Tip number 1. Now this question assesses time management and organizing skills. Make sure you have a plan for how you organize tasks and duties to ensure they are completed on time. And tip number 2, I recommend you mention the following 3 things in your answer. Number 1, you should say that you always create a list of your tasks. You then color code the tasks in order of priority. And you then say that you always assess how long each task takes to complete. So here is a brilliant answer to help you. How do you prioritize your work? I prioritize my work based on the needs of my company. I create a list of daily tasks, decide which ones need to be completed first based on the organization's commercial goals, and decide how long they will take to complete. I often use a traffic light system for tasks based on priority level. Red tasks need my immediate attention, amber tasks are next, and green tasks can be completed when there is more time available. I also ensure flexibility in my working day to respond to my manager's urgent tasks or work requests. That's a great answer because it shows you are a highly organized employee and you are professional at organizing your time. It's a great answer. Interview question number 12 is, what motivates you? Here's 2 great tips. Tip number 1. Now, unless you are applying for a sales position, do not say you are solely motivated by money. A job interview candidate who is motivated by financial reward will quickly move on to a new position if they are not rewarded with a high salary. I recommend you mention the following 3 motivators in your answer. Number 1, doing a great job because that gives you job satisfaction. Number 2, continuous improvement and growth. And number 3, being able to support your family. Here is a great answer. What motivates you? I am motivated by 3 things: staying fit and healthy, doing an excellent job for my employer, and taking care of my family. Maintaining a fit and healthy lifestyle means I am energized to work to the best of my ability. Doing a great job for my employer gives me a sense of pride and job satisfaction. And finally, supporting my family means they will be happy and we can achieve our goals. And I can only support my family with secure employment and a fair salary. That's another great answer. Interview question number 13. Share an example of when you worked well under pressure. Tip number 1. Now, this is called a behavioral interview question that requires a situation where you worked calmly and diligently to achieve a time-sensitive goal. Don't forget to use the STAR method to structure your answer: situation, task, action, and result. And good examples to give in your answer include completing a difficult project despite several challenges, and also completing additional work outside of the scope of your normal job description. Here is a great example answer. Share an example of when you worked well under pressure. During my previous role, our team was tasked with delivering a client project within a week due to an unexpected deadline change. The project typically required 3 weeks to complete. I needed to ensure that the project was delivered on time without compromising quality. I began by breaking the project into manageable tasks and prioritizing them based on deadlines. I delegated responsibilities according to each team member's strengths. To stay organized, I implemented daily check-ins to track progress and address any issues immediately. Unfortunately, on the last day of the project, a co-worker fell ill and was unable to work. To overcome this challenge, I requested the skills of a co-worker from another department who was available to assist. Despite the challenging timeline, the project was delivered on schedule, exceeding the client's expectations. The experience taught me how to maintain focus under pressure, problem solve, and organize effectively to meet tight deadlines. That's a great answer. Again, you can see how effective the STAR method is. Make sure you use it and practice it before your interview. It will definitely make a difference to the interview result. Question 14. Describe yourself in 3 words. Wow, this is a difficult question to answer. Tip number 1. So this next question requires 3 words that help you stand out from the other candidates. Avoid words such as team worker, hardworking, and friendly, because those words will not grab the attention of the interviewer. Tip number 2, I recommend you give 3 words that demonstrate how you can add value to the company in the role. But which 3 words should you use? Here they are. Describe yourself in 3 words. In 3 words, I would describe myself as cost-conscious, responsive, and results-oriented. My cost consciousness means I manage company supplies and resources to save money and seek ways to streamline systems and processes. My responsiveness means I only need to be told to do something once and act quickly, which frees me up to do more tasks. Finally, I always set goals for myself to achieve, resulting in greater output and a strong return on my salary. Those are 3 brilliant words that will definitely stand out from the other candidates. Interview question 15. Tell me about a time you demonstrated leadership skills. Tip number 1. Now, although you may not be applying for a leadership position, the interviewer will still want to hear evidence of how you take the lead if there is a problem at work. Tip number 2, again, use our trusted STAR method to structure your answer: situation, task, action, and result. And the more you use this method, the more it will get ingrained in your mind. Here is a great answer. Tell me about a time you demonstrated leadership skills. During team discussions for an upcoming critical client project, 2 of my co-workers recommended a shortcut that would save the company money. They suggested we outsource a large portion of the project work to online contractors to save time and reduce costs. They argued that the client would not be aware we had outsourced the work. It was my responsibility to make them aware of how dangerous this suggestion was, using effective communication skills. I immediately objected to their proposal. I explained that it was not only unprofessional and unethical to take this approach, but that it also went against the contract we had signed with the client. The client trusted us to do the work based on their experience. Opting to outsource the work could ruin the company's reputation. After listening to my arguments against their proposal, my co-workers agreed it was a bad idea. The project was then delivered on time for the client and to the expected and agreed contract standard. That is a great answer because you are showing you have good ethical standards and morals, and you are also demonstrating leadership skills, which is the fact that you are not afraid to speak out when you think something is wrong. It's a great answer. Interview question 16. Why is there a gap in your employment? Be very careful how you answer this question. Tip number 1. Now, do not be afraid of any gaps in your employment. They are common. Now, the key to answering this question is to have a positive reason for the gap and then to deliver your answer with confidence. Now, positive reasons for employment gaps include taking time off work to raise your family, taking care of relatives, and learning or training opportunities, and also going traveling. Here is a great answer. Why is there a gap in your employment? My employment gap is because I wanted to go traveling. It was a great experience because it taught me about different cultures and languages and the power of diversity. I have now finished my travels and don't plan to undertake them anymore, meaning I will be committed to the workplace. You can see how I have turned traveling into a really positive experience that you can use in your answer when responding to that question. Why is there a gap in your employment? Interview question 17. What are your salary expectations? Let me give you 2 great tips. Tip number 1. Before your job interview, please make sure you research the salary range for your job role and industry. And you can easily research the salary ranges for different job roles on the website glassdoor.com. Tip number 2. I recommend you cover the following 3 things in your answer. Number 1, give an explanation that you have conducted research. So that tells the hiring manager you are fully prepared. Number 2, then tell them what your desired salary is. And then finally, number 3, tell the interviewer the reasons why you think you are worthy of your chosen salary. Here is a great example answer. Now, in the response, I have highlighted in red sample salary figures. All you need to do is change them based on your own research and your desired salary. Here we go. What are your salary expectations? I researched the salary range for this job and industry before applying. The range is between $46,000 and $55,000. My requested salary is $54,000, and I would like the opportunity to have my salary reviewed annually based on my contribution to the company. For $54,000, I will give you a great return by bringing creative ideas to the team to boost sales, a strong work ethic, and the promise that all my tasks and projects will be completed on time. That's a great answer, and all you have to do is change the salary figures. Interview question number 18. This needs an answer that makes you stand out from the other candidates. Why should we hire you? Tip number 1. Now, I recommend you give the hiring manager 3 reasons why they should hire you. Most candidates will only give 1. At least one of your reasons should be focused on how you can add value to the company, preferably from a financial perspective. And tip number 2 is a great one. In the answer that follows, I will show you how you can use a 30, 60, and 90-day work plan to significantly improve your chances. Let me give you this brilliant answer. You will definitely be impressed by this. Why should we hire you? You should hire me for 3 reasons. First, I am an excellent match for the job description and a fast worker. This means I can immediately impact the team and will require minimal supervision. Second, I work hard to seek ways to help my employer grow. For example, in my last job, I recommended that the company implement a customer feedback form on its website to gather ideas on how it could grow and meet customer needs. And finally, you should hire me because I have created a 30, 60 and 90-day plan that explains what I will do in the role in the first 3 months to give you a brilliant return on my salary, and I would like to give you a copy. So the idea here is you take this 30, 60 and 90-day plan to your job interview in printed format and you give it to the hiring manager at the end of your answer to that question, why should we hire you? And if you want to download my ready-made 30, 60 and 90-day plans for job interviews, click the link at any time in the top right-hand corner of the video. That is a brilliant answer that will help you stand out from the competition. Interview question 19. Why do you want to work for us? Tip number 1. Now, most job seekers apply for many job roles simultaneously, which is at the same time, and therefore they know very little about the companies they are applying to. The hiring manager wants to avoid hiring these people at all costs because they are only interested in a paycheck. They couldn't care which company they work for. Tip number 2. I recommend you say that you have researched the company in your answer to gain a high score, and also say some of the positive things that you have found attractive about them during your research. Here is a great answer. Why do you want to work for us? I want to work at this company because you have a solid reputation for creating excellent products, delivering outstanding service, and constantly innovating to stay at the cutting edge of what your customers and clients need. Because we spend so much time at work, I only want to work in an environment where I continually progress and develop. I spent some time researching your company before applying for the role and was impressed with what I saw. It is evident that you have a positive workplace culture. You encourage your staff to be the best they can be and allow everyone to contribute to the business's success. Great answer. Interview question number 20. How do you handle stress and pressure? Tip number 1. Now, stress and pressure are both part of everyday working life. And remember this, stress is a physical emotion that you can control by remaining calm and focusing on the task at hand. Tip number 2. Now, to improve your answer, give an example of a time when you handled stress to achieve a difficult workplace task. Here is my brilliant response to help you pass your interview. How do you handle stress and pressure? I see stress as a natural part of everyday working life and believe I perform at my best under pressure. For example, in my previous role, I was tasked with delivering a project under a tight deadline. By staying calm, organising my tasks and collaborating with my team, we successfully delivered the project on time while maintaining high quality standards. I cope with stress by maintaining a healthy lifestyle, planning and organising my work in advance, and staying adaptable to changing priorities. I view pressure as an opportunity to showcase my problem-solving skills and contribute positively to the team's objectives. That type of answer is going to get you hired. Interview question 21. How would you deal with a difficult customer? Tip number 1. Now, dealing with difficult customers is a skill that is required in most job roles. In your answer, you must state that you would remain professional and not take anything the customer said personally. Now, I recommend you include the following 5 things in your answer. Number 1, the fact that you will listen to the customer. Number 2, you will ask them relevant questions. Number 3, you will apologize quickly if the company is at fault. Number 4, you will create a customer-centric solution. And number 5, you will follow up with the customer to ensure they are still satisfied. Here is the perfect answer. How would you deal with a difficult customer? I would handle a difficult customer with professionalism, empathy, and a solution-focused mindset. Remaining calm and polite helps to de-escalate tension and set a constructive tone. I would listen actively to their concerns, acknowledge their frustration, and apologize if the company was at fault. Understanding their frustration isn't personal allows me to respond objectively. I would ask relevant questions to clarify the issue, then provide clear, practical solutions. After resolving the problem, I would follow up to ensure their satisfaction and reflect on the experience to improve future processes and prevent similar issues. So that type of answer puts you across as a smart and professional employee that can come into the role and have an instant impact. It's a brilliant response. Interview question 22. Tell me about a time when you failed. Tip number 1. Now, this next tough interview question assesses honesty and a desire to improve. I recommend you give a situation when you failed before explaining what you did to learn from the experience. And tip number 2, 3 good examples to give include failing an examination because you did not study properly for it, sending out inaccurate communications, and over-promising and under-delivering. Here is the perfect answer. Tell me about a time when you failed. If I ever fail, I always take full responsibility. I will apologize sincerely and take immediate action to learn and improve. For instance, in my previous job, I attended an internal training course that concluded with an examination. I was overconfident in my knowledge and, unfortunately, did not prepare as thoroughly as I should have. As a result, I just failed the exam. Recognizing my mistake, I immediately apologized to my manager and committed to doing better. I studied diligently, retook the exam, and passed with a strong score. Since then, I've ensured I never repeat that mistake by preparing thoroughly for any task or challenge. So that is an honest answer, and I love the response because you take ownership for your failure and then work hard to improve and learn from the experience. That is the way to respond to that difficult but common interview question. Interview question 23. Tell me about a time when you had to adapt to a significant change at work. This is a difficult one. Tip number 1. Now, hiring managers want to employ people who adapt to change easily. Now, for a company to stay ahead of its closest competitors, it must change periodically. Tip number 2, good examples to give include supporting a new manager or supervisor, responding positively to new workplace operating procedures or rules, and also learning how to operate new company software tools or machinery. Here is my brilliant example answer. Tell me about a time when you had to adapt to a significant change at work. In my previous role, a new and inexperienced manager took over the running of our department. The new manager wanted to make some changes to our working practices. I was responsible for supporting the new manager. As a commercially aware employee, I understand how essential change is to a company's success if it is to stay ahead of its competitors. I scheduled a meeting with my manager to obtain a brief and asked them what I could do to help implement the change. After receiving instructions and guidance, I went away, worked hard to support the new manager, and encouraged other team members to do the same. Because we all supported the new manager with the changes they wanted to make, the team progressed and improved, and the company outperformed its closest competitors. That is a brilliant answer. Interview question 24. Tell me about a time when you had a disagreement with a supervisor. This is a really difficult question to answer. Let me start by giving you 2 great tips. Tip number 1. Now, this tough question is being asked to see how you communicate your ideas professionally. Do not say you would never disagree with your manager or supervisor, because if you think something could be done in an alternative way for the benefit of your team or business, then you should speak up. Tip number 2. Don't forget to use the STAR method to structure your answer. You should be becoming familiar with this method by this stage of the video: situation, task, action, and result. Here is a great answer that uses the STAR method. Tell me about a time when you had a disagreement with a supervisor. In my previous job, I received a call from a long-standing customer who was dissatisfied with a product they had purchased. They requested a refund, but the request was outside of the company's official refund policy. My role was to address the customer's concerns and ensure they remained satisfied with the company while adhering to company policies. However, I also recognise the importance of retaining loyal customers and protecting the company's reputation. I consulted my manager to seek approval for the refund, but they initially declined, citing the policy restrictions. I took a professional approach and calmly explained my perspective. I highlighted the customer's loyalty to the company and the minimal cost of the refund compared to the potential risks of losing the customer's business or receiving a negative review online. I reasoned that this goodwill gesture could help maintain a positive relationship and enhance the company's reputation. After considering my argument, my manager agreed to issue the refund. The customer was very appreciative of the resolution, and they continued their business with us, expressing their gratitude for our understanding and flexibility. This experience reinforced the importance of balancing policy adherence with exceptional customer service. A brilliant response. Interview question 25. Describe a time when you had to persuade someone to see your point of view. Tip number 1. Now, this question is often used in job interviews to assess communication and influencing skills. This is a competency-based interview question that should be answered again using the STAR method: situation, task, action, and result. And tip number 2. Think of a specific situation when you were able to change someone else's point of view for the benefit of your team or the company. Here is my great example answer. Describe a time when you had to persuade someone to see your point of view. In my previous role, I was tasked with deciding on a training approach for new hires. I believed a standardized training course was the best solution, as it would ensure consistency across departments and save time in the long run. However, a co-worker preferred a more flexible, personalized method that lacked consistency but was quicker to implement. I needed to persuade my co-worker to see the value in a standardized training course while addressing their concerns about flexibility and customization. I scheduled a one-on-one discussion to understand their perspective fully and shared my rationale for a standardized approach. I highlighted how it could streamline training, reduce inaccuracies, and provide all new hires with equal knowledge and opportunities. To address their concerns, I suggested incorporating optional modules into the standardized course to allow for some level of customization. I also explained how a standardized training approach could be used across different company departments. After our discussion, my co-worker agreed to trial the standardized training with the optional modules included, and the program was implemented successfully, reducing onboarding time by 25% and ensuring consistency across all departments. Great answer. Interview question 26 needs a very careful answer. What didn't you like about your previous employer? Tip number 1. Now, this challenging interview question assesses whether your views about your previous employer will make you unsuitable for their company. Be very careful how you answer this question, and do not say there was a toxic work environment or that you didn't like your boss or your co-workers. Now, good things to say in your answer are how you felt the company didn't take advantage of opportunities in the industry, or how you felt the company didn't take customer service seriously enough. Here is a great answer. Question 26. What didn't you like about your previous employer? I had a very positive experience with my previous employer. My boss was highly supportive, and I had a great working relationship with my colleagues. Together, we achieved many positive outcomes during my time there. If I were to identify one area for improvement, it would be the company's hesitancy to explore emerging trends and opportunities within the industry. While I often proposed ideas and suggestions for new products or services, I noticed a reluctance to trial these initiatives, which I believe were missed opportunities. I absolutely love these answers. Don't forget, very soon I will tell you where you can download them. Interview question 27. What are you looking for in your next job? Tip number 1. Now, this question assesses whether your workplace goals and career aspirations are aligned with the companies you are applying to work for. Make sure you research the company's website to see what training they offer new hires and their values, and to also see what their plans are for the future. Doing the research will help you give the perfect answer. Now, good things to say in your response are an inclusive and positive work environment where there is opportunity for everyone, in-depth training to help develop and enhance your skills, and a clear path toward promotion based on your job role performance. Here is a great answer. What are you looking for in your next job? I am seeking a job where my skills, knowledge, and experience will be utilized fully, and training will be provided to ensure I maintain competency in my work and grow professionally. I am seeking a job where my employer's values align with mine. I have researched your company's values and I am attracted to them. Finally, I am looking for a job where I can collaborate on exciting and innovative projects, where I will be kept busy, and where my manager provides the opportunity for everyone to reach their full potential. Pause the video, write down that answer, practice it before your interview. Interview question 28. Tell me about a challenge you had to overcome. Tip number 1. Now, if you are the type of employee who takes ownership of challenges and problems when they occur, you will definitely be more valuable to the company. Again, use the STAR method to structure your answer. And good examples to give include having to think creatively to overcome a challenge during a time-sensitive project, and also responding quickly to a mistake someone in the team has made to put things right. Here is a great answer. Tell me about a challenge you had to overcome. I worked on a critical time-sensitive team project in my previous role. A technical team member went off sick 3 days before the project deadline. It was my task to find a way to still get the project finished despite being one team member down. I assessed the outstanding workload and allocated some tasks to the remaining team members based on their strengths. For the technical related functions, I found an online contractor qualified to do the work remotely. By thinking outside the box and acting quickly, I overcame this challenge and completed the project on time and to the required standard. Interview question 29. How do you respond to feedback and criticism? Be very careful in the answer you give. Tip number 1. Now, you are being asked this question because the hiring manager wants to employ someone who values constructive feedback. Remember this. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. I love that statement. It is true. Tip number 2, in your answer, demonstrate an awareness of how vital feedback is to your personal and professional development and growth. Here we go. How do you respond to feedback and criticism? I consider feedback and criticism vital for professional growth. To me, feedback is the breakfast of champions. I actively seek and act on constructive feedback to enhance my skills and contribute more effectively to my team. Continuous improvement ensures I remain an asset in any workplace. I love that answer. It's a brilliant response. Question 30. Do you have any questions for us? Tip number 1. Now, at the end of your job interview, you will have the opportunity to ask some questions of your own. Do not say, I don't have any questions because you covered everything in the interview. I recommend you ask 3 smart questions that showcase your passion for doing a great job for their company. But which questions should you ask? Here they are. Do you have any questions for us? Thank you. I have 3 questions I would like to ask, please. Question number 1. What does excellence look like in this position? Question number 2. Can you tell me more about the team I would be a part of in this role and their responsibilities? And question number 3. What's the biggest challenge the team is currently facing and what can I do to help them overcome it? Ask those 3 questions at the end of your interview. The hiring manager will definitely be impressed. Okay, so that's it. 30 brilliant answers, great tips to help you pass your interview. The next thing to do is click that link right now in the top right-hand corner of the video. Head straight through to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can instantly download all of the answers I just gave in this training video. You can have them all in your inbox literally within 2 minutes from now. Make sure you check out my website and download that guide. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. I have put my LinkedIn link in the description below the video. It is always an honor and an absolute pleasure to connect with like-minded professionals such as yourself. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you all the very best for passing your interview. Have a great day.